a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda, coming to you live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. You will find the numbers displayed at the bottom of the screen, inshallah, for your calls if you have any questions. Meanwhile, checking the emails, Ibrahim asks, is the following hadith, ad-deenul mu'amala, which translates to, the religion is through your dealings with others? If not, is there any hadith close to this? This is not a hadith. This is something that is made up. It's a proverb, probably a saying from the old days, but it has nothing to relate to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, as it does not exist. Nevertheless, the meaning itself is acceptable. When we say that the Prophet said ﷺ, Al-Hajju Arafah, meaning that Hajj is standing on the day of Arafah. This is to highlight the pillar of standing on the day of Arafah in the area of Arafah. But it doesn't mean that if you do this, your Hajj is complete. There are other pillars. So likewise, when the Prophet ﷺ says a lot of different hadiths highlighting the benefits of a particular form of worship, it doesn't mean that this is it and anything else does not count or is not included. No, it's just simply to highlight it. Similarly, when we say ad-deenul mu'amala, though it's not a hadith, but it is a valid statement. Religion is not only isolated in forms of worship that we know of, such as salat, siyam, hajj, though these are the pillars of Islam. Without salat, you don't have any Islam. A person is not a Muslim anymore. Yet, it is not only Islam that you pray, fast, perform hajj, give zakat, and that is it. Your moral conduct counts as well, and this is why the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, the best of you are those who have the best of moral conduct. And the closest of you to me in paradise on the day of judgment, and the most beloved to me on the day of judgment, are those who have high moral conduct. And the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, do you know who is a person who is broke? Al-Muflis? So the companions answered according to their knowledge and said that Al-Muflis, a broke person, is a one who doesn't have wealth, he doesn't have furniture, he doesn't have money. The Prophet said, no, the broke person on the day of judgment is a person who comes with prayer, fasting, and charity. Yet he has slandered this one, and beaten this one, and shed the blood of that one, and cursed that one, and taken the money of that one. So on the day of judgment, Allah would hold him accountable, and Allah would change, Allah would charge him, would take from his good deeds according to his sins. He would be giving from his good deeds to those whom he had insulted or abused. But what happens if he runs out of good deeds? The Prophet said, Allah would take from the sins of these oppressed by him, from their sins upon himself, and then he would be thrown into hell. Therefore, the way we treat people is extremely essential. Don't think for a second that you resonate through your forms of worship, through your prayer or fasting or hajj. You resonate by how you deal with others. It is sad when we go to the courts in Muslim countries, or we go to the police departments, or we go to government offices, and you greet the officials by saying Assalamu alaikum, and all what you see is a frown, as if you've killed his father or insulted his mother. What have I done to you? The Prophet ﷺ, smiling in the face of your brother is a charity. Why don't you smile? So, in a sense, this statement is valid, but it is not a hadith. And we have to take the religion, Islam, holistically, not select things. I select the part with the beard because people give me preference when I'm standing in a row, or uncle please, oh sheikh please come in front of us. But when it comes to giving money in charity, I refrain. No, you have to take the whole religion as a full package, where you pray, fast, give charity, and at the same time pray at night when nobody's watching you. At the same time, you be being kind to your children and wives and relatives and neighbors and those who know you and colleagues, etc. Being truthful, being honest, being compassionate. All of this is part of the package of Islam that Muslims, unfortunately, are failing miserably in fulfilling. They only take the part they want and neglect the part they dislike or are not interested in, exactly as Allah described the sons of Israel, the Jews. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Do you believe in some of the scripture that you have and disbelieve in others? This is unacceptable. Jian says, if I just shake hand with people during the Friday prayer, khutbah, just shake hand and smile, is my Friday prayer accepted? Now, what calls Jian to ask such a question? Because he has read in the authentic Sahih Hadith that the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wassalam, whoever says to his brother, meaning the worshipper next to him, shh, listen. Whoever says this to someone who's talking, he says, shh, listen, then he had committed a foul talk, lagha. And whoever does this, then there is no Jum'ah for him. Another hadith, the Prophet said that whoever comes and overcrosses the worshippers in their roles while they are listening to the khutbah and separates them, he has lagha. He had done something that is foul and or something that is wrong, and hence his Jumu'ah turns into dhuhr. So from this hadith and from others, for example, the Prophet said, whoever touches the stones that is in front of him, before, at the time of the Prophet, the grounds were filled with pebbles, no carpets, no rugs, nothing. So somebody would be listening to the khutbah and maybe clearing the pebbles and playing around. The Prophet said his Jumu'ah is void. So now Jian is saying, what about shaking hands? Shaking hands has the same ruling, because when you shake hands, you're actually distracted from watching the khatib and listening and adhering to what he has to say, and hence this makes your Jum'ah void, and it counts only as dhuhr. That is, you're not rewarded for Jum'ah. And also, when someone says Assalamu alaikum, you do not reply. You must not reply to him or answer him. You have to listen to the khatib. And if someone sneezes and says Alhamdulillah, you do not say Yarhamkumullah, and so on. Walid from Morocco.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I want to question about Hafs and Warsh. What is different between Hafs and Warsh?
Okay. Any more questions?
What is different?
Any more questions? I got your question. Do you have any other question, ya Walid?
What is different between Hafs and Warsh?
Okay, I will answer. I will answer you, inshallah. Ahmed from Libya.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have about 4 questions for you this evening.
I can't hear you properly, Akhi. What can I do for you?
I have 4 questions for you, Sheikh, please.
Yes, but please try to pronounce your words clearly so I can understand it.
My first question is, in case I was...
Ahmed, that was too clear. I cannot hear you at all, Akhi. Try to call again. Walid from Morocco says, what's the difference between Hafs and Warsh? And he is referring to the different qira'at. And as we know, there are 10 qira'at. And these qira'at are taken from the famous qaris who have a connected chain of narrators to the Prophet ﷺ. And these are certain ways of pronouncing the words. So the most famous is Hafs and Asim. Those in Morocco and in the northern west of Africa, they use Warsh and Nafi'. And there are different qurra, such as Ibn Kathir and else others than that. I do not have knowledge in these qira'at because we only learnt one qira'ah, which is Hafs and Nafi' and Asim, Hafs and Asim. However, these other qira'at are accepted and they all come from the same source, and it's a difference of pronunciation of some words, whether to prolong a vowel or to shorten it, whether to have imala in some forms of pronouncing words or other. So these are technicalities that are known to the scientists and the great famous qaris who have knowledge in this particular science, and Allah knows best. Ahmed from Libya again.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Please, I have 4 questions.
Yes, Akhi.
My first question is, I was a Muslim or a non-Muslim. I paid bribes to enter into an institution, for instance, a school or in a job. Now I've been admitted in the school. I got to realize later that paying bribes is haram. What should I do? Should I leave the school or should I leave the job? What should I do in this case?
What is haram?
I got to realize that paying bribes to enter into the school is haram, and I've already paid that and I'm in the school. Should I stop the school or should I leave the job?
Second question.
And also maybe I made benefits, I made profits, and I built my house, I bought my car with the resource I had from the job. So what should I do with that money, with that wealth?
Okay.
After realizing that what I did is haram.
Okay. Second question.
The second question is, I see a Muslim girl, a Muslim. I spoke to her and she wants to accept Islam before I marry her. But the parents are asking me to pay dogs and cats, something related to Muslim traditional houses. But the girl is willing, she have accepted Islam because of me. She wants to be a Muslim. If I leave her, she will go back to back to worship their God. Should I pay for her, for her family, in order to take care to Islam? What should I do in this case?
Why is she not accepting Islam? Because of her parents?
She has accepted Islam because she wants to marry me.
Okay.
And the parents are requesting for me to pay something. What has something to do with God, the tradition, okay?
No, I did not understand. Her parents wants you to pay what?
they want me to pay dog, cats, for them to offer and wine. You understand? Alcohol.
Okay,
They are
okay.
taking this answer, yeah. So what should I do in this case? And the next question is,
Yes.
okay, please, I want you to answer this for a while. I will call
Okay,
you back again.
I will answer you, inshallah. Brother Ahmed from Libya says that, if I understood his question correctly, he got admitted to a school, a university, through bribes. And he passed the university or got his degree by hook or by crook, I don't know, but if bribe was involved, and he got a job. From this job, he made savings and he built a house and he bought stuff. So now he knows that this was haram. What should he do? If you paid the bribe, not knowing that it is prohibited, because there are some Muslims who would bribe others thinking that this is an initiative. Whoever comes first is being served first. So whoever pays gets the service. And they think that this is permissible. Everybody knows about it. So if you've done this out of ignorance, not knowing that it is haram, there's nothing wrong in that. Inshallah, you are forgiven. Repent and ask Allah for forgiveness. But if you at the time knew that you are doing a sin and you're sinful and you graduated, some scholars say that this is invalid. You have to go and see what you gave the bribe for and continue from there. So if you gave the bribe to pass your 101 calculus, for example, and the rest was okay, so you have to do your 101 again and pass it legally. If it was given for something else, you have to do it legally. Others say, now this is all gone and it's history, and you are on the job. They say if you are fulfilling the job description and the job requirements, so whatever is expected from a person occupying this position you're in, you are doing that or exceeding what is required. In this case, your earning is halal, inshallah, regardless of your haram endeavor that was done before, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have Muhammad from Guinea. Gania, okay. Yes, Muhammad. Mute your television and listen to me from the phone, please.
First of all, please thank you for your television and listen to me from the phone, please. Okay. First of all, we say thank you for your assistance in Islam. May God give you long life.
Ameen, and you too as well. Jazakallah khair.
And my question is, if somebody has a fixed deposit in a bank, the bank is giving interest, the man is a Muslim, this interest, he don't want to eat it. Can he leave it with the bank, or can he withdraw it and give it to people?
Okay.
That's the first question.
Okay.
The
Second
question is,
yes, sir.
when my wife refused to make niqab, I try my level best and I ask her, I need you to make niqab. She refused. Let me be with her or let me divorce her.
Okay.
That's my question, please, sir. Thank you, sir.
I will answer you, inshallah. We have Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
One question is there. I have seen the people, when Ahama is said and Imam is about to say Allahu Akbar, they usually raise their hands and make a dua. Is it sunnah? Or if the sunnah, if what they are making a dua?
Okay. I will inshallah ask you.
Thank you.
Okay, Brother Ahmed from Libya's second question, he says that there was this non-Muslim lady who he has interest in marrying her. He called her to Islam, she accepted Islam, and now her parents are demanding something haram from him, either intoxicants or something that is prohibited in Islam. So he says, what should I do? Should I comply or should I leave the marriage altogether? Akhi, first of all, if a woman accepts Islam and her parents, her family, her relatives are all non-Muslim, she is not obliged, and it is not permissible for her father to give her in marriage, because he's a kafir, he's a disbeliever. And this means that you can directly marry this woman Islamically through the Muslim judge in your country. In Libya, alhamdulillah, there are Muslim courts. And if there isn't a Muslim court in your vicinity, then the authorized imam of the Islamic center, he would become her guardian. You will bring 2 Muslim witnesses, and you will conduct the marriage, whether her father approves of it or not. This is totally irrelevant and has nothing to do with your marriage. Zainab from Nigeria. Zainab.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Yes, what can I do for you?
I have 2 questions, please.
Yes.
What is the responsibility of a parent to his child?
Okay.
And the second question is, what can a woman do? A woman who lives with her husband who doesn't pray.
A woman that lives with her husband in what?
A Muslim woman who lives with her husband that doesn't pray.
Okay.
Yes.
At all?
At all.
Okay.
What can she do?
Okay, I will answer you inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Muhammad from Ghana, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. I hope I'm not doing the same mistake again. He's asking about when I have a bank account. In some countries, all the banks are interest-based, conventional banks that deal with riba. So whether you like it or not, once you open a saving account or a current account, they deposit every month some form of interest. So he said, what should I do? Should I leave it for the bank? The answer is no. As long as it is enforced upon you, it's not selective, meaning that once I go to open a bank account, they say, do you like interest or without interest? If they give me this option, then I definitely have to go for no interest. But if it is not optional, they are enforcing it upon me, in this case, take the interest, you have to calculate and cleanse your wealth from this haram, prohibited, usury, riba money, and give it in means of charity. Someone who is sick, someone who doesn't have money to pay the rent, electricity bill, medication, etc., feeding the poor, all of this is permissible, but not to get closer to Allah with it, because this is not yours and this is not pure money. This is in order to cleanse your wealth from it and to purify it. Muhammad's second question says that his wife refuses the niqab. So should he divorce her? This is not something that is supposed to lead to divorce, because we know that covering the face is an issue of dispute. If the husband sees that this is the most authentic opinion and it has to be followed, the wife must comply. Because if she doesn't believe it is mandatory, by obeying him, she's not harming herself and she is not doing something that is an innovation. All scholars agree that it is recommended, if not mandatory. They say that it is recommended. It is for safekeeping and protecting the woman from predators out there. So it is better, but those who don't see it to be obligatory, they would recommend it. So she has to comply, she has to fulfill her husband's wish. However, if she does not do that, but abides by the normal hijab, she covers her hair, her entire body except her face and her hands, if this is the case, then This doesn't call for her divorce, especially if she is a good woman, especially if she's obedient, especially if she is, she's a good wife. But we all have our shortcomings. In this case, inshallah, you should keep on giving her da'wah, showing her that this is what pleases Allah, and showing her that these are the verses from the Quran that are clear, and from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and pray to Allah to guide her to abide by the niqab, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back.
Allah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back. Brother Muhammad from Saudi Arabia noticed that in our masjids, after the adhan has been called and before the imam gives the takbir, some of the worshippers raise their hands and make dua. So does this have any reference in the sunnah? And the answer is nope. It has no reference, none whatsoever, and this is an innovation. Now one would ask and claim, why is it an innovation? This is dua, and we're in the masjid, and we're about to pray, and we are doing it for Allah Azza wa Jal. We're not calling Al-Hasan or Al-Hussein or Ali or etc. We're calling Allah Azza wa Jal. See, once you connect a particular action or a statement with the form of ibadah, it becomes an innovation. The Prophet had never done this, neither did the companions, may Allah be pleased with him. So what is your reference that between iqamah and the takbir of ihram you make dua? There is nothing to state that this is a blessed time. On the contrary, the blessed time has expired for dua. The Prophet told us between the adhan and the iqamah, the dua is accepted and heard by Allah Azza wa Jal. So now the iqamah is over and done with, and yet you're still making dua. The time has expired. So this is not permissible, and Allah knows best. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia, it's a question, we've through of that. Zainab from Nigeria, she asks a question saying that what are the responsibilities of a parent towards his child? And this is a question that requires a lecture, and I believe I did few lectures here and there that it's on YouTube. You may look and search for it on my channel. But in a nutshell, the father's responsibility begins towards his child before even getting married. You want to be fulfilling your responsibilities and obligations to your child, select a good mother for him. If you select a bad mother or an ignorant mother or a mother with bad lineage or with bad siblings who will be your child's uncles, you're not fulfilling his rights. And after that, there is the dua before the intercourse that the Prophet had told us about. There is the upbringing of the child, providing maintenance and providing food and shelter, giving him the proper education, treating him well, teaching him how to pray. It's a long chapter that requires lectures, not a single answer in a Q&A session. Therefore, you have to read thoroughly on this topic to know your obligations. Maya from the US.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair. What can I do for you?
Alhamdulillah. I have 4 questions, if you do not mind.
Yes.
Okay, my first question is when we do sujood, the prostration due to the recitation of the Quran, at what moment do we say the takbir? Is it before we go to sujood or after we went from the sujood position?
Okay.
My second question is when we are following an imam and he goes to ruku before we are finished the Fatiha or let's say that we are making the tashahhud and he rises up, are we supposed to finish the Fatiha or the tashahhud before we follow him, or we just break it and just follow the imam?
Silent or loud rak'ah?
Either or.
Okay. Third question.
And the third question is that every Friday I read the Surah Kaf, but lately on Friday, let's say, I don't read it, but I read it during Salah, during the Doha prayer. I make 10 to 12 rak'ah and I just recite it in them. Is that okay?
Okay. Fourth question.
And my fourth question, I got into my teenager, and I was talking to her. I said to her, sometimes you're acting like you don't have a brain. Did I go too far in my speech, or I should have refrained from saying that?
Okay. And she has a brain, of course. Okay.
Excuse me?
She has a brain, of course.
Yes, I know. I mean, there was just a metaphor
Okay.
I was saying, I guess.
I will answer you, inshallah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Zainab from Nigeria's second question, she says, what should a wife do if her husband doesn't pray? And I ask her, does he pray on and off? She says he does not pray at all. So he's totally not praying, not a single rak'ah. If this is the case, such a person must be given a direct warning. You look him in the eyes, you tell him, according to my religion, the Prophet said, ﷺ, whoever abandons prayer is not a Muslim. You must pray now. If he says, nope, I'm not going to pray, and I don't want to pray, and I don't believe in praying, if he doesn't comply, you have to leave him immediately, because he's not a Muslim anymore. This is not a statement of takfir from myself. This is mentioned in the Quran. This is mentioned in the prophetic sayings, teachings of the hadith. And if you want more information, there was a beautiful discussion called the Great Debate between the Honorable Abu Amina Bilal Phillips, Dr. Bilal, and who holds the opinion that a person who does not pray is not a kafir, and myself, who holds the opinion that whoever does not pray at all, not a single rak'ah, and he's adamant, he's insisting not to do this, that he is not a Muslim anymore. It's on YouTube. I think that it is beneficial for you to look into it and learn from it, inshallah. Maya from the US had 4 questions. The first question, when prostrating for recitation, when should we say at-takbir? While you are falling down to prostrate, you say Allahu Akbar. You prostrate and finish, you raise your head without giving takbir, you don't give salam, you don't raise your hands, and nothing of that sort. Habiba from Nigeria. Mute your television and listen to me from the phone, Habiba.
Salam alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
My question is about the bank interest.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I have been using the account for a long time with interest in it.
Mute your
And
television,
I don't know-
Habiba. Mute your television, please, completely, and listen to me from the phone.
Okay. I've been using the account for a long time.
Okay.
And there is interest in it. Then how will I know the amount to give it out for charity?
Okay.
That's the question.
I will answer you, inshallah. Okay, Maya's second question, she says that if the Imam performs ruku' before I finish my recitation of the Fatiha, or if he concludes the prayer before I finish my tashahhud, what should I do? If the prayer is, or if the rak'ah is a silent rak'ah, then it is a pillar for you to finish the Fatiha. Therefore, one of two. Either the Imam is too fast, and I don't think that this is valid because everyone else seems to be okay with that, or you are too slow, and this is most likely. To recite the Fatiha for a Muslim, some of us take a long time. So they say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And they're doing it behind an imam. The imam already has finished the prayer. So this is too slow. If you know that your imam is an average person, you just recite it in less than 30 seconds. So you say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, as-sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim, ghayra al-maghdubi alayhim wa ad-dallin. How long did it take? Not even maybe 13 seconds. So this is how you should do it in order to follow the imam and not to lose track with him. As for the tashahhud, if he offers salam and you are still in the tashahhud, no problem. He concluded his prayer, you can continue to do your tashahhud, salutation, the Prophet ﷺ, and dua, and offer your salam after a while without any problem. Surah Al-Kahf, can we recite it during the daytime of Friday, but in Salatul Duha? There's no problem in that. Reciting it in Duha is considered to be reciting it on the day of Friday. And finally, she sometimes gets upset with her daughter, and she says, you don't have brains. So is she going overboard with this? Is this allowed? See, we all do this. When I tell my daughter, go and look for my mobile or from my wallet, and she comes after like 3 minutes, she says, I couldn't find it. And I take her with me and I show it to her on the dresser. And I say, you don't have eyes? Or when I call her and she doesn't respond, you don't have ears? You don't listen? These are normal things. These are not insultive, rather than it is to raise the bar a bit, make them aware, make them pay more attention. And inshallah, there's nothing wrong with that. But it shouldn't be the norm. We fail to recognize that complaints and criticism that are continuous are more devastating than not saying anything. So we should balance by criticizing maybe once and encouraging 9 times, so that the child would have courage, would be motivated. But when you keep on criticizing and showing the child their shortcomings on and on and on, and I'm talking about children, not about grown-ups. Grown-ups are grown-ups. They should be able to differentiate and segregate between things. Habiba from Nigeria says that I have an account, and how would I know how much the interest that I should give away from it? Well, you have to go to your bank, sit with your bank, with your account manager, and request the bank statement of your account, so that you can segregate what was deposited, what was taken away from your account. And he would tell you that this year we gave a percentage of 3% or 2%, etc. And he would point out to you in the bank statement that this is the interest given to you as a form of deposit. It can be identified and pointed out to you without any problem. Uthman says, is it permissible to pray alone with my family members if the only masjid closer to my residence is for the people of innovations, and there are errors and lack of tajweed on the part of imam? This is a frequently asked question. So the masjid next to us, they follow a particular sect. One says that the imam, after concluding the prayer, he looks at the worshippers and they offer salutation to the Prophet in congregation. They make dhikr, they make dua in congregation. This is an innovation. Another one says, the masjid I pray in, the imam says that the Prophet is hazir nazir. The Prophet is with us and he is watching what we're doing and he's listening to what we're doing wherever we go, and that he knows the unseen, and that the Prophet ﷺ is alive, and we can, this is something else. Another third person says that the Prophet was created of nur and he is not created like us from clay, etc. These are billions and trillions of innovations found in Muslim societies. The rule is, my friend Uthman, if that imam is a Muslim, this means that his prayer is valid for him. If his prayer is invalid and void for him, meaning that those who pray behind him, their prayer is invalid as well. How can we know? By analyzing his aqeedah. If he's a Muslim, khalas, you have no problem. But if he has something that nullifies his Islam, then you cannot pray behind him. Doing dhikr in congregation does not nullify Islam. Saying adhkar in congregation, or saying the adhkar before the adhan. In some countries they recite Qul huwa Allah, Qul huwa al-falaq, etc. before the adhan, and between the adhan and the iqamah they have other rituals. This doesn't nullify Islam. So you can pray and leave immediately, as long as you don't know anything condemning the imam of breaching the pillars of Islam or going out of the fold of Islam. Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Salamullah.
So I would like to, I need your advice regarding my friend who I advised her. I'm worried that the advice that I've given was right or wrong. Her situation is she's in Saudi Arabia working, and husbands and children are in the hometown country. Now currently she's really in difficulty and pain, and she's deciding to divorce with the husband because the husband is demanding for money non-stop from her. She's giving money every month, and she's been caring for the family for the last 2-3 years. But unfortunately, she has some saving with her, which is she's keeping it because the husband seems to wasting the money. But he keeps threatening her, if you're not giving all the money, then it's no use that you're working there. Her concern is not to give all the money. She can give all the money, but she's going to spend all the money. And if she goes home, that means they're going to have no money. That's her concern. So now this has been going on for the last 1-2 years. So now she is deciding, most probably she cries a lot, and she wants to divorce. And of course, with the little experience, I told her, of course, divorce is not the best solution. Maybe you may need to go to counseling or do a rational, try to talk to him, and they have 3 children. So I need your advice.
Okay. I will answer you, inshallah.
Sure.
Now, the question of Muhammad is an expat. She's working in Saudi Arabia. Her husband and 3 children are back home. She works and she sends the majority of her salary to her children, like most expats. Nobody comes to Saudi Arabia for the fun of it, or to the Gulf areas. They want to earn a living, an honest, decent living. Unfortunately, here comes a fork of the road. Now, you have options. Either you remain working in Saudi Arabia, sending portion of your salary to your husband and children. Option 2 is that you quit your job and go to your home country, be with your kids and husband. It is his responsibility to leave and provide for his family. Option 3 is to divorce. Now, all of these may seem difficult. I would suggest that the best would be that you go back to your country. A woman's place is with her children, serving her husband. It's the man's job to work and to put the bread on the table, not the other way around. So this is the first option that I would ask her to do. However, now we have a saying that when you have meat and fat, a person has an eye on the meat and an eye on the fat. He wants both. Now she's working here. She found the luxury of earning, and she's thinking to herself, should I leave this paradise I'm in, getting money, being able to buy things, and compromise all of this and go back to being a housewife? So this is a choice that she has to make. First option, leave your job, go and be with your family, and let the trouble and responsibility of earning upon your husband's shoulders. This is his responsibility as a man. Second option is that you keep on doing what you're doing, send him the money, stall for time until you save something sufficient for you to leave once and for all. Third option is to divorce, but divorce is not an answer, because if you divorce him, you will be without a husband and the responsibilities will grow more. Probably he will ditch his children and leave them with your parents, and then he would not provide for them and you would go to the court, etc. A long story. I don't see any easy way out. And the second option, the problem is if you keep on working and sending them money, a lot of the sisters who do this end up finding their husband marrying someone else because he needs a wife and the money is coming easily to him, so he gets married with your own money. So advising you would be difficult, but this is how I see it, the three options, and Allah knows best. Sana says, I read on Islam web that divorce in present tense is not valid. To the end. See, divorce, when you say to your wife, I am divorcing you, this is invalid unless he intends to implement divorce. Or he says, I divorce you. In English it's acceptable. In Arabic this is not acceptable because it's in the present simple tense. It has to be either a statement, you are divorced, or in the past, I have divorced you. But if he says it in the present tense, I'm divorcing you, or I divorce you, with the intention to divorce, the divorce takes place. If he says, Wallahi, I will divorce you, this doesn't take place because it's in the future. It's a promise. It doesn't take place until he says it as a statement or in the past. Mukhtar says, how do we know the actual time du'as are answered on Friday? The scholars had spoken about this, and the most authentic is between adhan and iqamah, and also the last hour of the Friday, which is the period before sunset of a Friday. Musa says, I heard that the surah of Mumtahina is good for getting shifa from liver disease. This is baseless. This has no authenticity to it, none whatsoever. Naseem says, beside tahajjud, salat al-duha, ishraq, can we pray any extra 2 rak'ahs as voluntary? The answer is yes. You can pray between dhuhr and asr 1,000 rak'ahs, no problem, as long as the time is not of restriction. Sana says, is it okay to purchase an item that has an eye, one eye on it? There's no problem. The issue of Illuminatis and the Dajjal and the one eye representing this is totally bogus. It is totally baseless. Adam says, if I have a need to go to the toilet and I suppress it and I pray without performing wudu, this is makruh. This is not recommended, but the prayer is valid because you are suppressing it. This is makruh. Adam finally says, since there is a hadith that women are not allowed to travel without a mahram, is it halal to hire a maid from overseas? If you're involved in a contract to get this maid from overseas without a mahram, you're sinful. But if she's already in the country, you had nothing to do with getting her in this country or traveling without a mahram, and you hire her locally, this is permissible, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. And with this we come to the end of our program. Until we meet next week, I will leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet.